Are you with me?
Page 4, yes.
Yes. Who were the members present?
The members include Usman Toure, who is the Chief Executive Officer,
Yes.
Abubakar Kante, Director of Finance, Mohamed Kijara, Procurement Officer, and you have members of the GBP review team.
And then the staffs directly involved with respect to the review process on page 5 would be Abubakar Kante, the Finance Director. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, right.
Mohamed Kijera, the Procurement Officer.
Right.
And you have Usman Toure, the Chief Executive Officer.
Right.
Now, for 2018, some of these problems still keeps on lingering throughout 2019 as well. For example, you will see that the SPU, which is the Specialized Procurement Unit, only consists of only one individual. That is the Finance Director. Do you see that?
Repeat again.
What I mean is the Special Procurement Unit for 2019 as well. There is only one staff. That is that's Mohamed Kijera, who is answerable to the Finance Director.
Yes, yes.
It is the same problem we had in 2018.
Right.
In fact, in 2018, when you raised the issue, they didn't even bother to comment about why that is the case or what they are doing to solve the problem, and the problem still was repeated in 2019.
Right.
Now, again, the same implications. You will see, still on page 5, that you have raised the issue of individualizing for personal gains, since there is lack of proper control.
Right.
So, where, instance, you have a repeated problem or violation consistently, is there any remedy that your office usually takes when you see maybe the same problem in 2018 in a particular year overlap to the following year, even regarding the fact that you have brought that to the attention of the authority? Do you have any way of addressing those issues?
Yes, we have remedies. Now, in most cases, when you look at our conclusion and recommendations in our reports, there are recommendations that we make, and these may also include training for members of the contrast committee. Sometimes the authorities concerned may require some or may lack some capacities in terms of procurement-related issues, so that when we make our observations, one of the key recommendations should be training them, and during the training, we will emphasize the need for for issues like this.
No, my point is these are violations. They are not necessarily lack of capacity. They are more or less like violations, knowing fully well what to do, but you still keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yes.
Yes, proceed, please.
The recommendations would be to ensure that the procurement unit is equipped with people who have that requisite capacity in terms of knowledge and skills, and also recommend that it is not right to have, for example, the procurement unit to be under the Director of Finance, but instead it should be answerable directly to the Chief Executive Officer.
Now, for on page 7, with respect to the total procurement proceedings and their values, please run us through that table.
Total
on
procurement
page 7.
Proceedings and their values. You have the procurement methods, which include open international. You have open national tender, two-stage tendering, request for proposals, restricted tendering, single sourcing, request for quotations. These are the procurement methods. So if you look at open tender, there has not been any open tender, no open national tender, no two-stage tendering, and there has not been any request for proposals and restricted tendering. So you have, under single sourcing, you have a total of, a total of 1,413 transactions, out of which 95% or 95.9% are single source, amounting to 8,424,728.9, and this represents 75% of the total value, 75.8% of the total value for single source. Now you have requests for quotation, about 60 transactions. The 60 transactions constitute 4% of the total procurement transactions, amounting to a total of 2,683,871.1, which is about 24% of the total value of the transactions.
For the year 2018, I believe there was about 98% of transactions with respect to single sourcing.
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
Yes, and for 2019, 95%, still on the very high side with respect to transactions for single sourcing. And then you've told us in 2018 that some of these transactions could be done in the form of a bidding and so on and so forth to actually provide more competitive avenues for procuring goods or services. Yes. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Now please turn to page 12. Are you on page 12? On 3.11, you have non-compliance issue there. What is that? Please, can you please guide us through that?
Page 12.
Yes.
The non-compliance. There was no evidence that the SPU had conducted periodic market surveys to inform the placing.
So I have two observations. Maybe you'll help us explain that. First, the non-compliance is on 3.11, yes, wherein there are no market surveys, periodic market surveys. Yesterday you dealt on the importance of having market surveys just to make sure you know the prevailing prices.
Right.
Yes, among other things. And again, you will see just the paragraph below that fuel at an expenditure of $5,554,300 is being purchased. But number one, the main problem is the transactions were done with suppliers that did not register with GPPA.
Right.
And then you've outlined that that is a very gross violation of the GPPA Act,
right,
2018.
Right.
Now, for 3.8, that is the same page, 3.8. You said the functions of the specialized procurement unit. In terms of an organizational structure, there is evidence that the Basse Area Council has established an SPU as required by Section 50 of the GPPA Amendment Act 2018. The SPU is headed by Mr. Mohamed Jammeh, as indicated in the table below. Can you explain what you mean? What is meant by the fact that there is evidence that there is an SPU? Because I don't see one.
Now, if I may go back to the organogram.
Yes.
Probably
on page
9.
Yes, please proceed.
Now, if you look at the organogram on the
Yes.
far right,
Right.
the last box there, you have a box which shows the position of or the where the compliance department belongs to. So that proves that there is a compliance department.
No, that shows that that is the organogram for the area council. So an
Yes.
organogram does not prove that the said departments that have been highlighted in an organogram are in fact in place, does it?
Well, that is one way that we look at.
Yes.
That we look at the organogram and look at the position of any other department.
Yes.
That's one thing. But then, as you rightly said, the other thing is to verify that that department exists.
Because it's only a documentation that you find for any institution that is supposed to have an organogram, that they will tell you, well, the institution is being headed by so and so and so. We have a legal department, we have compliance department, and we have XYZ department for the effective functioning of the institution.
So that's one thing that
Yes.
we looked at. But then, like I said earlier, this thing must be verified.
Exactly.
And at Basse Area Council, the team of reviewers noted that there is an office, in fact,
Yes.
an office for the procurement officer.
Yes.
And then, apart from the office, there is a procurement officer, which, if you look at the report, right from the entry meeting, you have the other officials that are met, the procurement officer featured there. And the procurement officer, by default, is always the head of the procurement unit.
Yes.
So these are all evidences to show that, yes,
Yes.
a procurement unit do exist.
There is a procurement officer. His name is Mr. Mohammed Jammeh. We've
Yes.
already outlined his name, procurement officer, with his professional qualification and the trainings as is illustrated on the table below. My point is, when you say SPU, Specialized Procurement Unit, what is it supposed to be composed of? Is it an individual that should occupy the office, or must you have a unit in its actual sense?
Yes, you should have a unit. That is why I say that you have Mohammed as the head of the unit.
Yes.
And then, apart from Mohammed, because for the entry meetings and other things, is the head of the procurement unit who should represent the whole unit in the minutes or the meetings that were held.
Let me refer you to page 5. Page 5. Yes, with respect to the findings. Did you not find on page 5 that in fact there's only one staff or member at the SPU? Are you there? Findings column, where you say that during the interview with the staff of SPU, we observed that interference in procurement process for the year under review is relatively low. And I marked that that part because it appears to be a contradiction, because it is relatively low. We further observed that there is only one staff member at SPU which is heavily affecting procurement operations, considering the amount of procurement transactions conducted daily. In addition, the team further observed that the SPU is under the finance department. So it is the same problem from 2018. The interference is said to be really unacceptable. I believe saying it's relatively low would really be a very wrong description. Would you agree with that? Because the structure didn't change from 2018. I'm not sure that you're following.
Yes, I'm following.
Yes.
I think, yes, you have a good observation, but then One, when you talk about a unit, we agree that a unit should be more than one.
Exactly.
That we agree. And, but when it comes to the interference, probably the interference here may mean probably a reduction in the procurement procedures. For example, in 2019 report, in the 2018 report, we noted that most of the transactions were done that instead of the chief executive officer, probably the procurement officer now is doing some of the transactions without the interference of the chief executive officer.
Yes.
And in that case, we will report that interference has gone down.
Yes.
A little bit.
But then again, one of the problems you highlighted with respect to not having a functional unit, because here you don't have a unit. So to say that it is headed by Mohammed Jammeh, it should suggest that there is in fact a functional unit with staff in it, and then they have a head. Here you only have one individual for the procurement department, which you flagged that is really not proper, and that person then in turn will be directly under the Director of Finance. That is the same problem that we have seen in 2018. So my point is the structure didn't even change one bit from 2018 to 2019. Now, that is why you came up with the implications there in relation to the fact that procurement may be individualized for personal gains since there is lack of proper control and supervision on the side of the SPU. Is
correct?
That accurate?
Yes.
You have provided list again of the same problem again when you informed Basse Area Council, page 13. When you informed Basse Area Council with respect to the fact that some transactions were being done which involved suppliers who are not registered with the GPPA, but they still repeated the same problems. You will see on page 13, jar oil, fuel was procured. In fact, all of these transactions I'm going to read. The procurement, the procured item is fuel. The amount is $2,038. Jar oil again, $2,076 in the same month, in April. So you have tech wall, $2,060, same month. Tech wall again, $500. Jalo oil, $5,560. Jalo oil, $1,000. You have Jalo oil, $4,050. Jalo oil, $4,050. You have tech wall, $1,012. The list goes on. So the suppliers are usually tech wall, Jalo oil, and that's it. So basically, the same problems are reoccurring in 2019. And what were your implications, which you have outlined? On page 13.
Yes, the implications are as follows. Number one, the above fuel vendors are awarded a contract without framework contract agreement. Number two, you have procurement may be individualized for personal gain since there is lack of proper control and supervision. Number three, accountability and transparency are not assured. And the last one is value for money cannot be assured.
Yes. So, and you also recommended for framework contract.
Right.
The same recommendations that was being done in 2018.
Yes.
But this, my worry is these recommendations, they keep on being repeated every year, but no changes, no improvements for the most part of it. but then you still keep on making the same type of recommendations. Why is that the case?
Excuse me, I don't know whether you have a hard copy of the 2019, because if I have to switch to it, because what may have happened is, like, we had a lot of backlogs that were not reviewed for some years. And then at the end of these things, I'm not sure which did the other report that we have just completed. I don't know, I cannot remember the report, the
one we
review. Yes, the review dates.
The one we just completed is compliance review for the
of backlogs.
Yes.
So some of the institutions were reviewed within almost the same period,
yes.
But for the almost the same period, but separately for separate years. So if that is the case, but it's not the case with this one, I would have said that when they are reviewed for 1 year before the recommendations are implemented, the following year would have been reviewed. But that is not applicable in this case, simply because we have about 1 year intervals. But you are right, we reviewed them, and a report was generated with some recommendations, but the recommendations were not implemented. So that is right.
Very well. Now, you may turn to page 19. Are you on page 19? Please.
Page 19, yes.
Sorry, Council. On page 13.
Yes.
This is the 2019 report. You made recommendation on the fifth bullet point.
Yes.
That the Basse Area Council should ensure that all fuel vendors to the council should register with GPPA. So subsequently, do you now have the list of vendors that have registered with you and are doing business with Basse Area Council?
We have the general list of all suppliers that registered with GPPA. So maybe it's just a matter of confirming whether those suppliers that they are dealing with are part of that list of registered suppliers that we have.
So we will want you to kindly provide us with the general list that the authority has.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, on page 19, there is a table which outlined the various procurement method, the number of transactions, the value as well. Do you see it?
Page again.
19.
Yes.
Yes. There seem to be 0 transactions with respect to international tender.
Yes.
The same with open national tender.
Yes.
How about two-stage tendering?
0.
Request for proposal.
0.
Restricted tendering.
0.
So, but for single sourcing, how many transactions?
Single sourcing, you have about 1,413 transactions.
What is the value?
The value is $8,424,728.9.
And the request for quotation is 60 transactions, 60.
Yes.
At almost $3 million.
Yes, yes.
Now, your observation is that they need to actually conduct a more competitive method of single source, method of procurement.
Right,
correct?
right.
Now, again, the same problems. With respect to this table, it is more or less like the same concerns. You understand? The same concerns that we have seen in the year 2018. when you recommend that when it comes to fuel or catering, they should prepare a framework agreement.
Right. Council?
Yes?
Sorry, can I make this clarification? The Honorable mentioned that the Commission want me to provide the general list of suppliers.
Yes.
Like I said earlier, registration is on annual basis. So I want to know, this registration list that you are requesting is for which year? Pardon? For this particular report that we are looking at?
No. You know you've been doing, you've submitted to us various reports.
Yes.
What I am asking you to produce for the Commission is list of suppliers, contractors for the period under review.
Okay.
As per the terms of reference of this Commission.
Okay, 2018 to
okay, yes.
Okay, thank you.
May 2018 to January 2023.
Okay.
Thank you.
2018 to 20. Thank you.
Yes, so we move on page 22. Again, non-compliance in relation to, are you there?
Yes, page 22.
Yes, with respect to pre-qualification procedures. You explained what pre-qualification procedure is, and we have seen that there are also violations of the Act. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
So they don't follow the Act in relation to conducting pre-qualification.
Right.
For 2019, the same problem with 2018. On 3.53, same page, you also have non-compliance issues. What was the issue?
3.53, non-compliance.
Yes.
The Council did not develop specifications for the procurement of motorcycle for a revenue collector, dated on the 28th of March 2019, amounting to $170,000.
Sorry, it is not March, it's April.
Yes, sorry, April.
Yeah.
Yes, 28th of April 2019, amounting to 170,000, which is not in accordance with the Public Procurement Amendment Act, Section 25, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
So again, we have another violation. Motorcycle for revenue collectors being procured in April. The amount is $170,000. They didn't even develop specifications.
Yes.
So we had discussed the importance of developing specifications. Is one of them to avoid biasness?
Yes.
So that you wouldn't target one particular supplier?
Right.
Probably you also get the value for money.
Right.
Yeah, so all of these requirements are not being met by the procurement authority. That is Basse Area Council.
Right.
Now, for all of these findings in 2019 as well, one thing strikes me really deep is not even once, maybe I skipped that point, not even once did I see the management response.
Right.
Yeah, so what does that tell you when they don't bother to even provide an explanation or comment or try to tell you that they will indeed comply subsequently? What does that tell you?
That may suggest that the Council do not care much about what the authority is telling them.
Yes, so basically they will still keep on doing what they have to do regardless of all these findings. Now on page 24, chapter 4.
Council, sorry, before
Yes.
you proceed. Mr. Sanyang, you have indicated in 3.69 that the authority submitted the reports, their monthly reports to you in accordance with Section 4710 of the Act and Regulation 119, Sub 3 and 4, and Regulation 161, Sub 1. My question is, these reports, do they contain all the activities, whether prior or post approvals of contracts? Do they contain all of it?
The reports that are
that
submitted,
they send monthly.
Yes, the reports that are sent on monthly basis are for single sources and the request for quotations, which were not subjected to the authorities' prior review.
Yes. So, what is the? So that is the law you have referred us to here.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, what about the prior approval? How do you get the reports for the prior approvals?
Now,
you don't receive any reports for prior approvals?
No, prior approvals will be sent for the authorities' approval before they proceed at every stage of the procurement. So, such things we don't need the reports. We don't need reports for that.
So, in other words, what I want to understand is that with both the prior and the post review, you will be able to capture all the transactions of the council. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you would have information of every transaction they must have done?
Yes.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Madam Chair, is your concern the fact that they indicated that they indeed send monthly reports?
No, the findings on 3.69, they are saying that during the page 23.
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to find out whether the authority captures the activities of all the councils when it comes to procurement of goods and services.
Yes, so 3.69, yes, you're right.
To enable us understand whether it is prior or post,
yes,
they have, you understand, tracking of all their procurement activities.
Yes.
Because when it is post, you understand,
yes,
it's those ones that are dealing with single sourcing, RFQ, and etc. But when it's for prior approval, they have information from the start, yes, from the point of requisition.
Absolutely.
So therefore, it means every transaction that a municipality does,
yes,
they have information to that effect.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I even want to draw it to your attention as well, because when I see 3.69 witness, it may suggest that there is monthly report being submitted to GPPA. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
But when you go to page 16, with respect to the functions of the contracts committee, is on page 15, but there's an overlap on page 16 with respect to the non-compliance. What is the third point? 3.17.
The contracts committee did not ensure that monthly reports are submitted to the authority.
Yes, so
I think it's a contradiction to the order. You are right. It contradicts.
Yes,
the order point.
Because the first point seems to give the honorable commissioners the impression, probably, that the monthly reports are being sent. But this one is saying, in fact, they are not being sent. Why do we have some of these inconsistencies when it is clear that some functions have not been, or obligations have not been met, but sometimes it is, they put in the report that in fact they have been met? What do you think is the case?
I think the reports are prepared by individuals.
Is there a need to call those individuals? Do we need to summon or subpoena them to come and explain?
Maybe, but at the end of the day, it's the authority that is responsible because they are staff of the authority. But
because
what I wanted to say is...
You explained to us the review process.
Yes.
Please, can you run us again through the review process of this document, of these documents?
Actually, we have the technical unit or the technical departments, and we'll divide them into teams that will go out for reviews with a team leader, and then they will organize themselves in a way that there must be somebody responsible for the reports, and then when they review, a report will be generated. But then the report will pass through initially the team, and then from there it will be submitted to the various heads of department and even GPPA management, and then before it is finalized.
Yes, because inconsistencies like this, if you ask me, I would say it should not really be happening frequently. Well, once in a while, of course, you may have typographical errors, or you may have, you may probably not avail your mind to certain things. But when you have, seems to suggest that there is compliance in relation to an obligation, but in fact, in reality, there is no compliance in relation to a particular obligation by law, I believe that is a serious error on the side of the oversight institution, that is your institution, the GPPA.
Right.
And some of these things, I think you guys have to really work on it, because it may suggest it's either the authority sees that definitely a particular area council is not doing the right thing, but they want to turn a blind eye, or the individual preparing the report just wants to favor an individual. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, chapter 4 talks about the procurement of vehicle engine.
That's page what?
Page 24. The category is good. The amount is $80,000. The contractor is Tubas Enterprise. Now, what were the non-compliance issues?
There was no evaluation report of the contract committee as stipulated in Regulation 28 of the GPPR and Section 12.7b and 2 of the GPPA Act. 2.
Yes.
There was no delivery receipt as stipulated in Section 35.2 of the GPPA Act, and the last one, the procured item was not part of the annual procurement plan as stipulated in Regulation 25.1 of the GPPR and Section 29 of the GPPA.
Yes, so please turn to the next page and please use your microphone. The subsequent page 25, procurement of innovation basket market works is the category, $12,480. The contract is one Kajatu Jalo. Request for quotation. There were non-compliance issues. The procured item was not part of the annual procurement plan, and there again there was no delivery receipt or note. The other one is procurement of maintenance of council vehicle, $35,000. Keba Jata is the contractor. Request for quotation. The non-compliance issues as well. No delivery receipt. The supplier did not register with GPP, and the procured item was not part of the annual procurement plan. If you turn to the page 26, we have another problem regarding the procurement of cartridges and stationaries, $10,000. The same problems, no delivery notes. So in Basa Area Council, these individuals were just making sure that they don't follow any regulation therein for all these transactions.
It's correct.
Now you have 4.6 procurement of raincoats. The amount is $21,000. Do you see that? The contractor is one Ibrahim Jallo.
Yes.
Request for quotation. Now, the non-compliance is that there was no delivery receipt and the supplier did not register with the authority. Same issues with respect to 2018. You turn to page 27, you have the procurement of motorcycle for this council, revenue collectors. I think we have already dealt with that, $170,000. Again, the supplier did not register with the authority. There was no delivery receipt. The supplier did not, register for either 2018 or 2019. There was no registration. So here you again have financial loss being affecting the state's funds seriously, right? Are you following me?
Yes, I am.
And 4.8, what is the item? What is the amount?
4.8 procurement of spare parts.
Yes.
Category goods, and the amount is $25,000. Awarded contract to Kebajata. Procurement method, request for quotation, and quotation number, Basi Area Council, Admin RFQ, 22 stock.
So all of these transactions as well, the same procedure. There is a certain mode of operation, same procedure, same. You will not see any delivery note. There will be no compliance with any regulation. Just that all that the individual or the individuals are doing is just to raise a purchase order. Is that correct?
Right.
And 4.9, what was the procurement for?
Procurement of tires, category goods.
$5,700.
$5,700 is
same problem.
Awarded to Tech Wall.
Is it the same problem, correct?
The same problem.
You turn to page 29.
4.10, procurement of maintenance of council vehicles.
Value?
$26,000.
Who is the contractor?
Kebajata.
And the method used?
Single source.
So again, the non-compliance, it was not part of the annual procurement plan, right?
Yes.
And the method is above the threshold, they said. There was no delivery receipt as stipulated. And the procurement method is above the threshold for single source. Is that correct?
Correct.
So 4.11, you have the procurement of fuel, $95,000 from Ja Oil. $95,000, which method did they use in this instance?
4.11.
11.
Single source.
Single source. And did it meet the threshold?
$95,000 is above the single source threshold.
In fact, it's significantly above it.
Yes, far exceeds.
Yes. Was it part of the plan, the
No,
procurement
it
plan?
was not planned for.
Was there a delivery receipt or note to provide evidence of delivery?
No, there was no delivery receipt as stipulated in section 35(2).
Turn to page 30, please. 50 bags of cement was procured.
Yes.
What is the amount?
$13,750.
No, actually, I'm not sure whether this is a mistake or not, but the amount seems to be $13,750,000.
Yes, you are right. I think we have something like 13 million.
Madam Chair, I see on page 30 the procurement of 50 bags of cement. The amount is $13,750,000. I'm not sure.
I believe that, Council, we should not speculate on what we have seen on the report.
Yes.
You should put the figures and the issues before
as
him.
They are.
As they are, and let us not allow the witness to speculate and indicate that it may be a mistake.
Yes.
Because this is their document, they reviewed and they gave us a document written So we cannot speculate, or we cannot put across to the witness the possibility of a mistake.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. That's why
this is the amount. This is
yes.
13,750,000 and not 13,000.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That is why I believe it, I drew it to your attention. So yes, you have $13,750,000 for the procurement of 50 bags of cement.
Yes.
Yes. The amount, the procurement method is single source. Do you see that?
Yes, yes.
And what were the non-compliance issues?
The procurement method is above the threshold of single source, which violates Section 38 and 45 of the GPPA Act. The procurement method is above the threshold of single source.
Yes.
Which violates Section 38. There was no delivery receipt as stipulated in Section 35(2) of the GPPA Act, and the supplier did not register with GPPA for the year 2019, which violates Section 24 of the Public Procurement Act 2018.
Yes. Now you have
intervene here. You can see that on the issue of the non-compliance, to confirm that it is 13,750,000.
Yes.
They have said in their non-compliant point 1, the procurement method above is above the threshold of single source, which violates Section 38 and 45 of the GPPA.
Yes.
And they further went on to say that that is the procurement method is above. So which means, you understand, they are giving us the figure confirming that this is not within the threshold.
Yes.
So we are taking this figure that how many bags of cement was purchased?
50 bags of cement.
It was purchased at 13,750,000.
Yes, absolutely. I am in line with the Commissioner. The witness said 13,000. I brought it to your attention that it's 13 million that is written there.
Yes.
So that for your observation.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Now, the procurement of staff ID cards printing. What is the amount?
$9,000.
The method of procurement?
Single source.
The supplier is what Ibrahim Media Printing.
Yes.
What were the problems with respect to the non-compliance?
There was no delivery receipt as stipulated in Section 35(2) of the GPPA Act.
Now, the last page, page 31.
31.
You have the procurement of A4 papers.
Yes.
At an amount of $10,000 from Next Level Stationery, the single source method. Same problems. No delivery notes. There was no registration for the year 2019 with respect to the supplier, and it was not part of the annual procurement plan. So for the year ended 31st December 2019 again, substantially the same with respect to 2018. No improvement on the side of Basse Area Council. It was business as usual. They didn't even seem to, in fact, again, bother to make any management respond, trying to either explain certain things or trying to provide a justification for any of their actions. So we have, for Basse Area Council, we have Usman Toure as the CEO, Abubakar Kante as the Director of Finance, and Mohamed Kijera as a procurement officer, just doing whatever they feel like doing without following any process, any laid-down process. Will I be correct to say that?
Right.
Madam Chairperson and the Honorable Commissioners, I have just ended a review of the compliance report for the year ended 31st December 2019. May the Commissioners come in to ask questions if they have.
Mr. Sanyang, would it be correct to assume that these final reports that you've generated, you have given the Council the opportunity to respond to query or ask for correction in some of the information that you have given in this report? Am I correct?
Yes.
And in this instant, you gave them the opportunity to respond to some of these things that you've raised in the report.
Right.
And they did not respond, and they did not write to you explaining why they did not respond. And up to the time you submitted this final report to them, you did not receive any response to some of the queries that, or some of the issues you have highlighted, which are
right.
For them to respond to.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. My question to the witness is, we have seen you be for the inconsistencies as surfaced in your report. My question to you is, what is the process that your reports go through before it is labeled final draft, final report? Do you, to assist you, do you review it, or it goes through several reviews, and as the chairperson have just said, you give them the opportunity to respond, and they chose not to, and then you do your final draft, your final, not draft, your final report. I have two questions. One is concerning the figure raised about whether it's 13,000 or 13 million. They should have that as an error on that, but they chose not to. So by virtue of that, the Commission is holding them responsible for 13 million, not 13,000, as per your concerns or your query. The other thing is, I am worried because of the so many inconsistencies, that is it not that your technical people that are out there at times just copy and paste just to expedite the production of their report? The inconsistencies are just too much. In 2018, they were now reviewing 2019, they just copied and pasted some of the things, because at an earlier stage, they don't conform with the legal requirements. Further down the same report, they are saying they've complied. So I'm a bit speculative about the inconsistency, and is it laziness on the part of your technical team that have gone there, or is it laziness on the part of the officers that are doing their report? As for what stage do you, or do the process goes through so that you can append your signatures that I have read before a final report?
Thank you. I think in the first place, let me confirm that the inconsistencies are a cause for concern. We are very concerned, especially when they are being revealed at this very gathering. Going back to your question, now, I think I indicated earlier on the way or the programs. First of all, there will be teams, and the team will be responsible for the report. They all work as a team. So when they review and a report is generated at management level, we encourage that first should be that peer editing among themselves. They look at what they have written and among themselves they read and make some clarification here and there before it is submitted to the next level. And of course, the next levels will include the heads of department and of course other the senior management. So from the report will be submitted and then also reviewed. But and this draft will be sent to the procuring organization concerned that should also go through and then respond to some of the cases within a time frame. If no within that time frame, we finalize the report, which of course is generated and then submitted to the National Assembly, like I said earlier, because it's the main body that we send our report to. But like I said earlier, yes, they are inconsistent, and given this important gathering, we have the inconsistencies. It's really a cause for concern for even the authority.
No.
Now, can you please turn to the compliance review for the year ended 31st December 2020 to 2021. It's dated the 28th October 2022.
Yes. Council, before you proceed, I just want to make a clarification before I forget.
Yes.
The Honorable Chair mentioned that we should provide some documents by Friday. When we went out for break, I made a call to the office to see the possibilities or make arrangements for that to be done. But when I consulted them, they an appeal so that we do that on Monday, because they have started making consultations with them, and leave from here by Thursday, sleep in Basse and then collect the documents. But we want to do it with all other yet to be reviewed. That is Kuntaur Area Council, Kerewan Area Council, and Mansakonko Area Council, so that it will not require us maybe going back for those documentations again. So our request is, like, if it is acceptable, we do the submission on Monday. And that will also include this particular transaction, 13,000 versus 13 million, so that those clarifications can, or the documentations, very careful.
Well, we would accept the application to allow you to submit these documents we are requesting for on Monday. But we are not asking you to rewrite your report. You have already report. So in any case, we will accept anything that you bring. We will look at it, because we are obliged to look at everything that you have presented to us. But just a point to note, you are not to rewrite your report, because this is a report you've sent to them. They had the opportunity of reviewing it and sending it back to you. So it is not in your place now to ask for further clarification on some of these issues, because you said, and this is why, if I may refer you to some of the earlier questions, I always refer you to the reviewed documents that you said you looked at when you were dealing with that particular council for that particular year. And you do confirm the highlighted documents in the report are the ones that were availed to you, and that is what you reviewed, and that is what gave you the opportunity to write this report. Thank you. Can we proceed? So we have granted the permission to submit your documents on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, for the year 2020-2021, are you on that document?
Yes.
Just to confirm, so this document is a document that combines the review of both 2020 and 2021.
Correct.
Thank you.
Can you give us the names of those in attendance in the entry meeting?
One, Fode Danjo, Basse Area Council, Usman Toure, CEO, Basse Area Council, Lamin Suso, Director of Finance, Basse Area Council, and Mohamed Jawune, Procurement Officer, Basse Area Council.
How about the ones in attendance in the exit meeting?
One for the Chairman, Basse Area Council, Usman Toure, CEO, Basse Area Council, also Director of Finance, Basse Area Council, Mohamed Jawuna, Basse Area Council, Seni Kanute, Ward Councilor, and Yuba Jawara, Vice Chairman, Basse Area Council.
Now, on page 7, with respect to the total procurement proceedings and their values for the year ended 31st December 2020.
Council, before you proceed,
yes.
Can I confirm?
Please, absolutely.
Yes. Mr. Sanya, since this is a combined report, the entry and the exit meetings, have you anywhere in the report indicated that these are the same sets of people both in 2020 and in 2021? You understand? In situ, that is in place at the council. Can you confirm that for us?
I don't think there is anywhere in the report that indicates that the people in 2020 are the same set of people in 2021. It's not indicated on the report, but we can make confirmation. Yes, we'll
yes,
try
please
to make that.
avail us the information so that we can confirm that these are the same sets of people that were at the institution in 2020 and in 2021. Yes.
Chairperson, so already witnessed through the total procurement proceedings and their values for the year ended 31st December 2020. Are you there?
Yes.
Well, for open international tender, open national tender, to request for proposal, were there any transactions?
No.
How about restricted tendering?
Nil.
How about single sourcing?
1,251 transactions.
Request for
13 transactions.
What is the value of the single sourcing? Almost $8 million.
7 million. Yes, almost $8 million.
How about the request for quotation?
About 4.7 millions.
Now, for the year 2021, for single sourcing, how many transactions?
888.
The value?
7,437.
And the request for quotation?
Sums amounting to 426,400.
Good. Now, if you go to page 11, they still maintain the same individual in the procurement department or unit. Is that not the case?
Page 11.
Mohammed
Yes,
Jaune.
Mohammed Jaune, and the title is Procurement Officer, and the profile is not taking any course at the time of review, and the trainings undertaken are also mentioned.
Now, there were non-compliance issues on page 12. Do you see that on page 12? With respect to the SPU, you said
Yes.
that during the period under review, GPPA Form 100,
Yes.
which is a national requisition form,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yes.
Was completed. However, we observed that the estimated is always the same as the amount quoted by the bidder recommended for award. This shows that Form 100 is filled after the collection of invoices instead of before. And the next is this SPU does include evaluation criteria in this standardization document sent to the potential suppliers. However, there are instances in which the award criteria were not specific, so that's why you flagged it very, very. Is that not the case?
Is it the second point on the non-compliance?
Yes. Let us just deal with the first point and we'll move to the second point.
Yes.
Do you see the first point?
During
Where you seem to conclude that because of the nature of how they fill Form 100, which is the national requisition form, it appears that these things are always after making a purchase with respect to any procurement method they conduct. So they don't really follow the procedure, they just kind of fill these documents afterwards to act as if they have followed all the procedure. Can you please explain?
Actually, it is procedure.
No, first
The
explain,
form
first simplify what is happening here.
Acquisition. So the phone availability. Procurement officer should also sign.
Whether it's been delivered, they don't know. We have seen that they don't even have delivery notes or delivery receipts to that effect. That's even one aspect of it. But then this inspection committee is even suggesting that in the event there is in fact delivery, they will be on the ground to inspect these goods for the purpose of accepting or rejecting, considering so many things.
Right.
But that's not even present. Will one know monies that have been spent or that have been said to have been spent on services or goods are in spent on?
Including the sense of that is going to be very difficult for one to determine whether they have been delivered, and even if delivered, are they delivered in accordance with what is being specified or not. So to determine that is going to be very difficult. It cannot.
Right?
Yes.
Again, transactions carried out. First, more than 1,000 single 7%